was a time when record sleeves showed us the stars, but rarely the hands that built the music around them. Behind some of the biggest voices of the 1960s stood a loose circle of Los Angeles session musicians. Arriving quietly, reading charts, and leaving before the photographs were taken. They were not one fixed band, but they became the hidden heartbeat of an era.
They're on the eve of destruction.
These 15 songs reveal how often the sound of pop history belonged to people whose names most listeners never knew.
I love the colorful clothes you wear.
Number 1, Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys.
I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving.
Good Vibrations still feels like a memory arriving in pieces. Sunlight, mystery, nervous energy, and something almost impossible to name. Brian Wilson spent months constructing it across several Los Angeles studios, asking elite session musicians to record passages without always explaining how they would fit together. Hal Blaine, Larry Knechtel, Don Randy, Lyle Ritz, Billy Strange, Steve Douglas, and others became pieces in an enormous musical puzzle. Paul Tanner created the eerie sliding sound on an electro-theremin rather than a traditional theremin, while the production reportedly consumed more than 90 hours of tape. Members of the Beach Boys also contributed instruments and vocals, but Wilson treated every studio and performer as part of something larger than a conventional band.
I don't know where, but she sends me there.
Its secret is not that the music came effortlessly. Obsession was recorded, rearranged, and edited until it sounded like pure joy. Number 2, California Dreamin' by the Mamas and the Papas. Few records capture distance as beautifully as California Dreamin'. It sounds warm, yet everything inside it grows from winter, homesickness, and the ache of imagining somewhere better. Behind the vocal harmonies were Hal Blaine on drums, Joe Osborne on bass, Larry Knechtel on keyboards, and guitar work from John Phillips and P.F. Sloan. That detail matters because the group was not simply 4 singers standing before anonymous professionals. Phillips helped shape the arrangement himself. The unforgettable alto flute solo came from jazz musician Bud Shank, who improvised it after an earlier harmonica part was removed. Even more surprisingly, Barry McGuire had recorded the song first, with the Mamas and the Papas providing backing vocals. Their own version transformed that foundation into a permanent anthem of escape. Paradise often feels most vivid when it is imagined from somewhere cold, gray, and far away.
Like grief falls in your fingertips.
Number 3, You've Lost That Lovin' Feelin' by the Righteous Brothers. This record does not begin like a breakup. It begins like the moment before someone finally admits that love has already disappeared. Phil Spector built the backing at Gold Star Studios with Earl Palmer on drums, Don Randy on piano, Tommy Tedesco and Barney Kessel on guitars, Carol Kay and Ray Pullman on bass, and Steve Douglas on saxophone.
You would only love me like you used to do.
One buried fact corrects years of casual retelling. Palmer, not Hal Blaine, played drums on the released master. Bill Medley then endured take after take as Spector searched for the precise darkness he wanted in the opening vocal. The celebrated wall of sound was more than volume. Here, it became pressure, density, and emotional confinement. Each instrument seems to crowd around a relationship collapsing in slow motion. Other songs describe heartbreak from a distance. This one makes the room itself feel colder. Number 4, Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis Presley. There is something weightless about this recording, as though Elvis is speaking quietly to one person rather than performing for a crowd. recorded in Hollywood for Blue Hawaii. The session united Elvis regulars Scotty Moore and DJ Fontana, Nashville players Hank Garland and Bob Moore, and Los Angeles professionals including Hal Blaine on percussion. It was therefore less a pure Wrecking Crew performance than a meeting between Elvis's trusted circle and the emerging West Coast session world. The melody reaches back to the 18th century French song Plaisir d'amour, an extraordinary origin for something that feels so immediate. Beneath its elegance lies an idea older than pop music.
Take my whole life too.
The heart often decides before reason can object. Are you enjoying this video? If you are, please hit the like button. I'd sincerely appreciate it. Number 5, Be My Baby by the Ronettes. The opening drum pattern arrives like a door being thrown open, and decades later, it still feels enormous. Hal Blaine played it at Gold Star Studios during a Phil Spector session crowded with musicians, including guitarists Bill Pittman and Tommy Tedesco. While Jack Nitzsche shaped the arrangement, Blaine later recalled that the famous pattern grew from a mistake or spontaneous variation, a small human moment that became one of pop's most recognizable openings. The backing required repeated takes, with players doubling and tripling parts until the studio itself appeared to shimmer. At the center, Ronnie Spector sounded vulnerable, but never weak, surrounded by an arrangement designed to make young love feel larger than architecture. The hidden musicians did not diminish the singer, they magnified her longing. One private plea, carried by many hands, became a memory shared by millions of listeners. Number 6, Mr. Tambourine Man by the Byrds. The first notes seem to open a window, and suddenly folk music is standing in electric sunlight. Yet the record that introduced the Byrds to the world was played mostly by Los Angeles studio professionals. Roger McGuinn was the only Byrd to perform an instrument on the master, adding his chiming Rickenbacker 12-string beside Hal Blaine on drums, Larry Knechtel on bass, Jerry Cole and Bill Pittman on guitars, and Leon Russell on electric piano. McGuinn, David Crosby, and Gene Clark still supplied the unmistakable vocal blend. So the magic belonged to both worlds. Producer Terry Melcher hired seasoned players because the newly formed group had not developed enough studio precision, though the Byrds performed on most of the album that followed. What began as a practical shortcut became the blueprint for folk rock. A band can discover its identity through musicians standing just beyond its official borders.
Something in your eyes.
Number 7, Strangers in the Night by Frank Sinatra.
Strangers in the night, exchanging glances.
Strangers in the Night carries the glow of a late ballroom.
We'd be sharing love.
Supported by another carefully assembled studio team. Hal Blaine played drums, Chuck Berghofer handled bass, Michelle Rubini and Bill Miller played piano,
Dance away and...
while Al Casey, Bill Pittman, Tommy Tedesco, and Glen Campbell filled the guitar section. Campbell was reportedly called in at short notice and followed the arrangement by ear.
For strangers in the night.
Blaine reshaped the pulse of Be My Baby into something slower and more elegant, while Sinatra's improvised nonsense syllables at the ending became part of the record's identity. Even polished music leaves room for an accident worth keeping. Oh, by the way, I will be posting more videos like this, so please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next video. Okay, on to the next. Number 8, Wichita Lineman by Glen Campbell.
Wichita Lineman.
Few songs make loneliness feel this wide. Glen Campbell sings as though the horizon itself has entered the arrangement. while musicians he once worked beside
Vacation, but it
create the open space around him. Carol Kay played Fender bass and devised the descending figure near the beginning. Jim Gordon supplied restrained drums.
still on the line.
Al Casey added acoustic guitar, and Al DeLory handled piano. Campbell did more than sing. He played acoustic guitar and the Dane Electro 6-string bass heard in the aching instrumental passage. Jimmy Webb believed the composition was unfinished,
You more than want you.
yet Campbell understood that its unresolved quality was part of its power. Later overdubs brought Webb on organ, Jim Horn on flute, Mike Melvoin on keyboards, and DeLory's sweeping orchestration. The performance sounds like distance made audible. Its deepest truth is that incompleteness can express longing more honestly than a tidy resolution ever could. Number 9, Help Me, Rhonda, by the Beach Boys. Help Me, Rhonda turns heartbreak into forward motion, sounding bright enough for summer, while its narrator tries to outrun rejection. The familiar hit was not merely a polished album track. Brian Wilson rebuilt the song for greater punch and urgency. Al Jardine sang lead. Brian played piano and organ. Carl Wilson added 12-string guitar, and Dennis Wilson contributed tambourine. Around them were Carol Kay, Glen Campbell, Billy Strange, Larry Knechtel, Don Randy, Hal Blaine, Steve Douglas, Plas Johnson, and Jay Migliore. That combination matters because the Beach Boys were not absent from their own music. They worked alongside professionals who expanded what the group could achieve in the studio. Embarrassment became momentum, and disappointment became something people could dance through. Can heartbreak become easier to survive when the music keeps moving? Comment yes if you agree.
Parted pages and were proud.
Number 10, MacArthur Park by Richard Harris.
The park is melting in the dark.
Even before Richard Harris begins singing, MacArthur Park feels like a memory too large to fit inside an ordinary pop song. Jimmy Webb constructed its shifting sections with Hal Blaine on drums, Joe Osborne on bass,
By the tree.
Larry Knechtel on keyboards and harpsichord, and Mike Deasy and Tommy Tedesco on guitars. Jim Horn and a full orchestra later widened the musical landscape. Harris was known primarily as an actor, yet Webb coached him through a demanding vocal that treated every dramatic turn with the seriousness of a stage performance. After extensive rehearsal, the musicians reportedly captured the complicated structure with remarkable completeness,
And I will
making a 7-minute composition sound less like an experiment than a fully formed world. Radio convention suggested a song this long should fail, but it reached number 2 in America. Certain memories remain unforgettable precisely because they refuse to become smaller or easier to explain.
To the brain.
Number 11, The Beat Goes On by Sonny and Cher.
The beat goes on. The beat
The
goes
groove arrives with the confidence of something that has always existed, yet its defining feature was created inside a crowded Los Angeles studio.
keep pounding a rhythm to the brain.
Carol Kay played the bass line, replacing a conventional walking figure with the syncopated pattern that became the song's foundation. Elsewhere in the room were Barney Kessel, Jim Gordon,
Girls will break their hearts,
Lyle Ritz, Michelle Rubini, Bill Green, and arranger Harold Batiste, contributing to a performance that sounds remarkably spare, despite involving nearly 20 players. Kessel reportedly joked about how many professionals had been hired to play so little. But restraint was exactly what the arrangement required. Sonny Bono understood the value of empty space, while Cher's cool delivery made cultural change sound almost routine. Fashions disappear, relationships shift, and generations move forward. Yet the underlying pulse continues. The beat survives because life rarely pauses long enough to explain where it is going.
That's the way shuffles.
Number 12, He's a Rebel by the Crystals.
He's a rebel 'cause he never ever does what he should do. Just be
Some records conceal their secrets inside the arrangement. This one concealed nearly everyone who actually made it. He's a Rebel was recorded at Gold Star with Darlene Love and the Blossoms singing.
and I'm so proud 'cause he's not just
Yet Phil Spector released it under the Crystals' name. The real Crystals neither sang nor played on the hit that suddenly represented them. Hal Blaine, Steve Douglas, Howard Roberts, Tommy Tedesco, Al DeLorean,
in that way. They won't like me after today. And I'll be standing right.
Don Randy, Jimmy Bond, and Ray Pullman created the backing after Spector learned that a competing version was being prepared. He rushed the session, secured the record, and earned his first #1 release on Phil's. The performance helped define the wall of sound,
We can share a love. He is always good to me.
but its triumph carried an uncomfortable truth. Pop history often rewarded the name printed on the label rather than the people inside the room. Fame arrived quickly, leaving some of its creators outside the spotlight. Number 13, Up, Up and Away by the Fifth Dimension. This recording feels weightless, like a bright afternoon untouched by doubt. Yet its effortless lift came from meticulous studio craft. Hal Blaine played drums.
Among the stars together, you and I.
Joe Osborne handled bass. Larry Knechtel added keyboards. Tommy Tedesco and Johnny Rivers contributed guitar. Songwriter Jimmy Webb played piano, and Gail Levant brought in harp. Al Casey and Bud Shank added further color to the finished arrangement. Rather than drawing attention to themselves, the musicians made complexity disappear beneath the Fifth Dimension's soaring vocal blend. The song entered the American Top 10 and later collected major Grammy honors, including Record and Song of the Year. Its lasting charm comes not only from optimism, but from its complete lack of embarrassment about hope. For a few minutes, escape seems innocent, the future feels welcoming, and the sky appears close enough to touch.
But not for voting. You don't believe in war. But what's
Number 14, Eve of Destruction by Barry Maguire.
We're on the eve of destruction.
The opening feels less like a performance than a warning delivered before anyone had time to soften it. Barry Maguire recorded Eve of Destruction
It knows no regulation. Handful of senators don't.
with songwriter P.F. Sloan on acoustic guitar and harmonica, Hal Blaine on drums, and Larry Knechtel on electric bass. The vocal that became famous was essentially a rough work take,
All the hate there is in Red China. Then take a look.
reportedly captured, while Maguire followed the words from a handwritten lyric sheet. A polished replacement was expected, but the unfinished recording reached radio first, and its urgency could not be recreated.
Bury your dead, but don't leave a trace. Hate your next.
Blaine approached the rhythm like a military procession, giving the track the grim sense of people marching toward consequences they barely understood. Despite its rawness, it reached #1 in America. The trembling, unvarnished delivery became its greatest strength, proving that fear often communicates more clearly before someone teaches it how to sound composed. Number 15, The Little Old Lady from Pasadena by Jan and Dean. Few songs capture California mischief with more affection than this one. The title character appears harmless, but beneath the suburban image waits a roaring engine and a taste for speed. Jan Berry built that illusion with session musicians including Leon Russell on piano, Tommy Tedesco, Bill Pittman and Billy Strange on guitars, Ray Pullman and Jimmy Bond on bass, and Tommy Morgan on harmonica. Berry was more than a singer standing before hired professionals. He worked as a producer and arranger, directing the studio like a finely tuned machine. The song climbed to #3 in America, transforming a regional advertising image into national pop mythology. Its humor depended upon contrast, respectability on the surface, rebellion underneath. The same contrast defined much of the California sound. Behind its carefree smile were disciplined musicians who arrived on time, read the charts, and made fantasy sound effortless. The Wrecking Crew was never one permanent band, and that may be the most remarkable part of the story. They were an overlapping circle of musicians whose names changed from session to session, yet their instincts helped hold an era together. They gave singers confidence, gave producers new possibilities, and gave familiar records the details that still bring us back decades later. The stars were real, but so were the invisible hands beneath them. Which hidden performance surprised you most? Share your choice in the comments, and subscribe to Retro Rewind for more stories behind the music we thought we already knew.